Guys and girls, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Hope you're all well. Hope you can all hear and see me loud and clear. If you can, first of all, go and like this somewhere. Drop some thumbs up. Drop me some hearts, some emojis, some gifs, whatever you can in the chat. I appreciate you all tuning in as per usual. And if you haven't already done so, let me know where you're calling in from, where you're live from. Today, Monday, 9th of Feb. Over here live from Marbella. For those of you who don't know me, you've never seen me before, my name is Bradley Marchant. I've been involved in the online space now, the personal development world, since 2011. Always growing, always learning, always getting better. And I had a little bit of move over the weekend. So I moved into a new property, a new villa. Basically like my dream villa, everything that I have ever wanted in a place, in a house. I moved there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Woke up this morning, and that is going to be the topic of today's call. And this might sound a little bit weird. It might seem a little bit kind of off tangent, but this was while I was in dream state, if you will, when I still woke up. So if you've never seen me before, drop me a 1 in the chat. If you're a regular, drop me a 2. And if you're just here for the shits and gigs, drop me a 3. But I appreciate you all tuning in as per usual. So today's topic of the conversation is going to be about letting go. And I was kind of looking how best to address this and kind of going through some things that we maybe don't necessarily pay huge attention to. So I want you guys to think of like the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years, how many times you may have moved, the properties that you've been in, you know, the things that are in your wardrobe, the things that are in your sock drawer, all of this other small, minute bullshit that every time you move, who here looks at a t-shirt, looks at a dress, looks at a suit, or they look at something and they think, I'll keep that. There's something in one of your top drawers or your top cupboards that you know full well you should get rid of, but you say, I'll just keep that, right? How many of you are starting to see the stuff that you're doing on a day-to-day basis that you should maybe get rid of, but you don't? And that is literally what I wrote in my notes this morning. So this was this morning when I woke up, packing up the house. You don't realize how much little things that you keep holding on to for sentimental reasons. The fridge magnets, you know, the XYZ that's in your top drawer that you know you should bin. But imagine how much stuff you store in your brain day in, day out, and you wonder why you can't move forward. So that is what I wrote down this morning. And I was like laying there next to Kate and I was like, I'm going to have that as my mindset topic for tonight. Because we all want the lifestyle that we've dreamt of. We all want the things that we've kind of put out in front of ourselves. But we don't necessarily know what it is that's holding us back. So for me, when I looked at this, when I was doing the moving, you know, we've gone through such a transition in the last 1 to 2 years. And the clothes, the shirts, the suits of the old version of Bradley, which I once desired to have, I don't want no more. The old version of me would have been like, oh, I'll take that with me for sentimental reasons. Oh, I'll take that with me because, like, you know, it was what me and Katie wore on our first date. Oh, I'll take that with me because it was the first property that I got in Marbella, that I moved into in Marbella. And you end up holding on to all this small, meaningless stuff that in the grand scheme of things, you'd be better off getting rid of. So if you guys look right now, what are things that you've held on to over the last 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, that you know you should probably get rid of, but you haven't yet? So I want you guys for this week going forward, I want to start giving you guys like tasks and things to do, because like I feel we all come onto these calls and, you know, we get inspired, we get motivated, we think, yeah, he talks it real, he talks the truth, he talks like straight facts, there's no fluff, there's no nonsense, there's no BS. But then the rest of our life kicks back in. The other days of the week, we go through and we maybe do the same stuff. I've had some amazing messages off you guys on Instagram saying like, I've implemented what you've taught, it's changed this, it's changed this, it's changed this. So when we start to look at this, like I'm doing it myself. So all the stuff that I'm kind of sharing with you, I'm trying to kind of be almost someone who goes and be's the person that I want to be. Because when I was moving, it was very, very easy to hold on to all that small little sentimental stuff, to keep the tabs open in our brain, if you will. So you imagine how much stuff that we deal with day in, day out, that we've dealt with for the last 10, 20, 30, 40 years, however old you are, that you do not know that you're keeping hold on to. So you might wonder why you can't break through that set amount of income per month, why you can't break that rank in the company, why you can't get the promotion, why you can't get your dream relationship, your dream partner, your dream friends, your dream car, your dream watch, your dream this, because the version of you that's holding you back, you haven't addressed yet. So many people look for external things that is going to feed them. But what you're going to have to realize is you dig deep. You're going to have to go internally. You're going to have to go inside of you to find the next version of you. So how many of you know that you suppress things, know that you put things off, know that you put things to the side, and you make mental to-do lists, right? You're making a to-do list for this, 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 and you never fucking tick them off. And all that ends up happening is you build up anxiety, you build up worry, you build up dread, you build up all of these feelings and thoughts and emotions which you've put upon yourself. And I always say this on these calls, I'm talking to me right now. I'm not talking to 606 of you on this call. I'm talking to me. Because this is the stuff that I've had to do to get me to where I am now, to where we will get to a point where this year Bradley will make multiple 8 figures. Saying that out loud is fucking crazy. Me 3 to 4 years ago couldn't afford rent. Couldn't afford to fuel my car. Was eating pot noodles. Still love pot noodles, I'm not going to lie. Prawn cocktail crisps, diehards. Right? But I've had to go through transitions. I've had to cut the old versions of me off that didn't work. And I was listening to something this morning. It was a fantastic quote. It was by someone who I think was a ruthless gangster, right? I don't know where I found this. I don't know where I was listening to it. But it was saying how they talked about floods. And the river was rising and rising and rising and rising and rising. And eventually, this person died. And the gangster said, that wouldn't have happened to me. And the guy was like, well, why not? He said, because I'd have cut it off. So some of you have to cut off parts of you, get rid of parts of you to move forward. This is dealing with trauma. This is dealing with things in your past. This is dealing with how you've been brought up, how you've been raised by your mum, your dad, your grandma, your granddad, your auntie, your uncle. And you might be like, Bradley, what has this got to do with mindset? What has this got to do with trading? What has this got to do with business and entrepreneurship? Everything. You cannot be a successful business person, a successful individual, and you've not healed the internal versions of you. Because what will happen, the universe will give you money and you will fuck it up. Right? Who here on this call, who here on this session live right now has had things present things to them and they've fucked it up? They've not been ready for it. They've not handled what's being sent in front of them. Yeah, Charles Bronson, I think it was. I was listening to it this morning and I was like, wow, that's so true. I had to cut off friends. I had to cut off family. I had to cut off relationships. I had to cut off shit that did not serve me. So now you best believe that I have the best relationships, the best friendships, the best partner, the best network around me. Because I had to cut all of that off. It hurt. It was painful. It made me sad. I felt lonely. I felt lost. I used to go to Ibiza 7, 8, 9, 10 times a year to try and find myself. I didn't know who the fuck I was. I was in this entrepreneurial world online trying to make money trading. Didn't know why I couldn't make the money that I desired. And I started to understand, right, okay, well, if these people have been through that, if they've gone through this trauma, if they've gone through this, I have to start healing me. Started to address the things that made me feel emotional, that I'd suppressed, that I used to push down. So like, if you're like, Bradley, what has this got to do with trading? Nothing. Nothing at all. But what it has got to do with is you mastering becoming the best version of you. Because I'm telling you right now, the way that Bradley Marchant today, on the 9th of February 2026, operates versus the Bradley Marchant 2026, 2023, 2022, 2021 version of me, how I operate now versus then is light years different. My mental clarity, my focus, how I move as a human being, the way I make decisions, the way I operate in business, the way I kind of do my day-to-day life is light years different. My belief levels are through the roof. No one can sit here and tell me that trading doesn't work. No one can sit here and say that you cannot make money. No one can sit here and tell me that the businesses that I'm building are not working for the average person because I've seen the results. My belief levels are through the roof. I'm setting goals in place right now for stuff that I dreamt of doing when I was 50 and 60 years of age. Some of you on the call right now haven't got the level of belief, haven't got the level of faith, haven't got the vision yet. And there was a guy called Mark Hughes in Herbalife, right? This is back in the day in 2011. He used to say, borrow my eyes because I can see. So what if you guys on this call right now borrow my eyes? You lend my eyes. Take my vision. And I'm not saying, become X, Y, Z like Bradley. I'm just saying I know how to make money. I know how to, everything that I can touch, I know I can make into a business. So what if you just have the same level of belief, the same level of faith, the same level of kind of impact that I'm having? What if you had just a little bit of that to begin with? The way that I talk, the conviction that I have around what I'm doing, do you believe, hand on heart, that if you had that around you, if it was in your ear day in, day out, would you get better? And I don't say that from a place of ego. I don't say that from a place of like self kind of worth. If you self, I don't know what the right word is there, but I don't want it to sound like, Bradley's the Messiah. I'm just saying that I know when I'm around people and I can help them. So these calls, there's 600 of you tuning into this. If you go and implement the tiniest little bits of this, you remove all the bullshit versions of you, all the lies that you've been telling yourself, that you were told by your family, you were told by your mum, your dad, your grandma, your granddad, your auntie, your uncle, all the people around you that you love, know, and trust. We've been getting lied to since we were a fucking kid. And now we do it to our kids. So we wonder why trust and all this other stuff comes up in a later date. We're told about the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, all this other shit. And when we get to 6 and 7 years of age, we're like, haha, gotcha. That was to make you to go to bed early. That was to make you do this. That was to make you do that. And then we wonder why when we get older, we have trust issues. It's because the people who loved and trusted us the most when we were growing up were lying to us for 5, 6, 7 years about the Tooth Fairy, the Easter Bunny, and all this other, stuff that goes on. I'm not saying I'm not going to do that with my kid, but what I'm saying is we have all of this other stuff that's going on. So like if you can get rid of all of the mental clutter, all of the noise inside of your brain, and you burn the bridges, get rid of all the old versions of you, all the old promises that you've made yourself that you've never stuck to. Like who here on this call tells themselves they're going to do something and they don't do it? Right? You might find yourself doing the same thing day in, day out that you don't do. Look at that little can of Fanta there. No promo. And for those of you who've got kids next to you and you're listening to this, and I've just said that Santa isn't real, my apologies. My apologies. But like this is type of stuff that like I love going deep in. Me and Katie can talk for hours about this type of stuff. Like watching Katie in the last 18 months go from someone who posted a video inside of her old bathroom with 27 subscribers, talking to herself, to now having 125,000 subscribers on YouTube, winning the school games, having a community of like-minded people all around the world. She had to lie to herself. She had to have belief. She had to have the faith. She had to have the vision. And at the beginning, guess what? She might have had to borrow my eyes a little bit. Because sometimes it requires someone like me to have that little bit more belief in you. That little bit more faith than those around you do. So if you're on this call right now and you don't have anyone around you, I believe you can do it because you won't be turning up on this call. I have seen people go from 300 to 500 pound accounts to 20, 50, 100, 200, 400,000 pound accounts in no time. Like, who here, hand on hearts, here to make money? Yes or no in the chat. And again, if you're not here to make money, you might be lying to yourself at the same time. You're in this space, you're on this call to make money. You're here to grow, you're here to get better. But to make this type of income that you desire, you have to cut off the shit versions of you that are lying, procrastinating, talking nonsense. I'm getting incredibly good at removing all of the external energy around me that makes me feel a certain type of way. You imagine performing all day, every day at your optimal level. Who here's got people around them that are energy vampires, draining their energy every single day, making them feel a certain type of way? Cut it off. Who here's got a shit friend that they know they shouldn't be spending time with? Cut it off. Some of you are too nice. I was that guy. I spent fucking 10 years going to network marketing events, being everyone's friend, hoping that people liked me. Now I couldn't give a fuck whether you like me or not. But guess what? I know how to build communities. I know how to help people make money. I know how to make people feel better about themselves. I know how to make people look internally and not externally. So guess what? I know the impact that I'm now having when I've removed that layer of me that was people-pleasing, that was always trying to make others around me feel good, smile, happy, yay. I'm now doing better. Consequently, the network around me are doing better. They're making more money. The community is growing. We're nearly at 10,000 active traders. 10,000 people who I've never met, probably never spoken to, and may never speak to. When you think of that, it's insane. And so many people just bumble through life, not understanding, not dealing with things, not cutting off something. They're worried about the sentimental value. Becomes emotional hoarding to an extent. Right? Like I wrote down here, we keep objects, memories, and identities long after they have expired. I've told you guys on this before, I've got people that I cut out of my life. I delete their number. I block them on all forms of social media because I do not want that energy around me into my life. Even if they're watching, I don't want it. If it was meant to be, they'd still be in my life. Some of you are saying you want this, and you know what I'm going to say? You're operating like this. Day in, day out, all parts of your life. You want in a clean, luxurious villa. You want in the nice car. You want in your kids to have everything that you wanted growing up, but you're still operating down here. So many of you on here are parents, and you're treating your kids like your parents treated you. I've had some insane calls the last couple of weeks where people are basically reliving their parents through their kids. For me personally, I don't have kids yet, but I'm going to make sure 100% I had the best upbringing ever. My mum couldn't afford certain things. My dad couldn't afford certain things, right? They used to give me the best that they could. I'm going to make sure that my kids grow up wanting for nothing, but they're going to have the manners, the characteristic, the respect that they need around money. I'm never going to be able to have to tell my kid no to something. So I want you guys on these calls to start looking at where you are right now, where you're going, the future that you want. Is everything congruent with that version of you? Is it congruent? Is everything that's coming out of your mouth right now aligned with that future version of you? Because I guarantee I could come to 99% of your houses right now, and it's not. The way that you are, the way that you speak, the way that you live, the way that you operate day to day probably isn't the most optimal premium version of yourself. And that's because we're all growing, we're all getting better, we're all kind of navigating our way through life. So if you start to look at all them open tabs that we have in our head, that's what I was thinking about this morning. Like, I have so much clutter in my old house. I didn't realize that in a 2 or 3 bedroom, duplex, you could acquire so much shit in 18 months. Turns out you can. So you imagine how much clutter we have over time. So like every time you say to yourself, I should start, I should leave, I should forgive, I should stop, I should do this, I should, it's all little mental tabs that you have open in your back of your brain. And the mind does not like incomplete instructions. So you're saying one thing to your brain, which thinks, oh my God, I'm going to do that. And then the action part of you never delivers, never fulfills it. So we can relate that to trading, and you might be like, right, I should stop over leveraging. I should stop entering my own trades. I should stop doing this. But you keep doing it. So what's going to happen is that trading account balance is eventually going to get to a point where the monetary amount will ruin you. Who here on the call has had it where their account's gone from bum, 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 making money. They're like, shit, I'm unstoppable. Next thing, they over-leverage, they over-trade. No trades have come out. They're bored. They're impatient. Oh, why is there no more trades? I'll just put a couple of sells on. I'll just put a couple of buys on. And then before you know it, account's gone. And you're like, fuck, I've just lost 8 grand, 5 grand, 3 grand, 2 grand, whatever it was, right? So a lot of you, as you're going through this, you need to understand that the internal version of you that's wanting peace, that's wanting calm, that's wanting growth, that's wanting all the best versions of you, it doesn't come from adding more. You might have to sit down and just go through some shit and be like, right, I don't want that anymore. I don't need this anymore. I don't like that. I don't need this. Getting rid of it. I'm letting go, because letting go is an act of self-respect. You don't need that anymore. So you holding on to it and clinging on to it. It's like, I went to this event once and a guy, said, don't let this go as hard as you can. It was a £20 note. I was like, ugh. And eventually he just said, right, okay, let it go. And I went like this. He took the 20 out, give me 100. Some of you are squeezing on to everything, every last penny, every last feeling, every last thought, every last emotion, and you're not letting true abundance come into your life. Every single one of us on this call deserves everything that we need, everything that we want, everything that we set our heart to do. Right? And if you guys look who are in the chat right now that are down today, I've seen the trades. I was with a good group of people today. The trades have been banging. I'm getting testimony after testimony after testimony after testimonial. Win, result. Some of you just don't know how to manage the emotional aspect of it. You're not clear on following instructions. So it's like if you're navigating over here, I was talking to a construction guy about this today. He overheard me on a call while I was having my lunch, and he was like, Brad, he said, what is it you do? So I started to talk to him about trading, this, that, and the other. He was in construction. He was talking about how a villa that he was doing today required certain tons of cement. And I was like, right, okay. I said, let's look at it this way. We give you the exact amount to the T of cement that you need to fill this villa, to do it, to make sure the infrastructure is in place. If only 3/4 of that turns up, is the villa going to be completed to the spec and the level that you set it out to be? He's like, no. I'm like, right, okay, that is trading. We give you the parameters, the entry, the stop loss, the take profit. If you choose to deviate away from that and you choose to do something different, you choose to change and tweak it, then you deserve to lose. And he was like, oh, makes perfect sense. Right? So like if you start to look at this as a clear instruction, everything is all based around energy, frequency. There's certain laws of the universe that you cannot violate for long enough before it comes back around. So if you start to see yourself doing the same consistent patterns over and over and over and over and over again, would it not be wise to check that? Because the topic of this call is to get rid of and stop cluttering your fucking life up. Get rid of baggage. Get rid of all the old emotional insecurities that you've got. Get rid of the old versions of you that don't serve the future higher version of yourself. Like me and Katie spoke about this not so long back when she used to vape. And we just stood there and she's like, does the best, highest performing version of Katie vape? No. Bin. Does the best performing higher version of Bradley drink? No, he doesn't. Doesn't drink. Might have an occasional one every now and again. Had a little celebratory one at Christmas with my mum and Katie. Does the best version of me do this? No. Right, okay, not doing it. Does the best version of me, the one that's earning the most amount of money, they're having the most amount of impact, do this? Yes. Great, will we do that? Act as if. Be, do, have. Some of you are trying to attain this, trying to do all of this stuff up here. And I've said it again. You're down here. Right? And a lot of you in here right now, you need to understand it's not about the money. You could lose 200 quid, 500 quid, £1,000, 10 grand. It doesn't matter. If you cannot follow clear and simple instructions, your energy is all over the place. The financial markets are an energy exchange. If you're chasing money, if you're trying to extract money out of the market whilst being in a fearful, worried state, you're not going to get it. Because you will act a certain type of way when money is about to be taken out of the market, when profit is about to come. As you're about to start getting the money, start hitting the take profit zones, you do something different. You adjust your take profits. You want more money. You aim for a bigger take profit zone. Some of you just need to let it hit. Get used to making money. Right? And again, like I'm just reading the chat here, like, so glad everyone had a crap week. Don't feel so bad. From reading maybe 4 comments. Did everyone have a crap week? No, Mark's just put, didn't have a crap week. I also didn't have a crap week either. Not sure. I know my week's been fucking sick. Right? So like start to change even how you operate on typing, texting, speaking. Like just that, and again, I'm sorry to blast this out, but when I read that, like I've just done 20 odd minutes about what you want to attract. And your first message, like one of the messages is, I'm so glad. Why are you so glad that other people have lost? Other people have lost money alongside of you. So that means that there's other versions of you and other people in the same room that also haven't followed the trades. Last week, statistically, was sick. Today has been sick. Like, again, life and death in the power of the tongue. What you're speaking, what you're saying is what you are going to attract. So you're so glad that you've lost. So glad that other people have, and again, this might sound like I'm bashing this out on you, but other people need to hear this. Right? My apologies to whoever that was, by the way. I didn't even read whose name it was. But just think, energy-wise, you've just said to the universe, I'm so glad I lost. So glad other people are losing. The universe will go, right, there's more shit. You can't handle it. Lose, because you're glad. Right? And this might sound really, really, really like small, like minuscule. TJ, my bad. All right, if it feels directed at you, but other people need to hear this because this is how other people are operating in their day-to-day life, and it's why you're fucking losing. Not just in trading. Some of you want to become the best version of yourself. Some of you want to make the most amount of money, but what you say behind closed doors when no one else is there is what you are. This for me is when it starts getting deep. My subconscious will not let me have a negative day, negative week, negative hour. Sometimes I want to fucking blast someone's brains out. Then I just go, yoink. Removed. But this is powerful. This even more powerful. So that's why when I'm in the shower, when I'm doing all my affirmations, when I'm reading, when I'm speaking, when I'm talking, I'm already talking about care homes. I'm talking about dog sanctuaries. I'm talking about taking over Marbella, building shit in Dubai, having one of the best trading floors in Marbella, the UK and Dubai. Done. Already. Said out my mouth. It's gone. So just be very, very mindful on all of the little stuff that you're doing. And these calls, they might be a little bit advanced. They might be a little bit too much to begin with. Some of you might just need some basic, like, training around, like, what is mindset. But this is the type of stuff that once you dig deep and once you start to implement all of this and you start to become that best version of you, life is a walk in the park. You can do whatever you want. Like, I'm my own simulation. This is what you need to remember. I'm in a game like GTA right now. I'll buy whatever car I want. I'll have whatever car I want. I'll buy whatever house I want. I'll live wherever I want. I'll have the best friendship circle because I'm creating the code. You're creating your own code. So if you were sat right now and you were rewriting the code to your game, which you have an infinity hack on, you can have whatever the fuck you want. Who's going to put negative code in? Right? Who's putting negative code into that game? Well, on Tuesday you don't feel very well. No, I'm a fucking top performer every single day. Who here, hand on heart, is putting negative shit into that game? The simulation is a cheat code. You have whatever you want. Nobody is doing it. Write yes in the chat if you're putting the best code in the game. The hacks, everything. I used to remember playing on GTA. I used to do left click, right click, triangle, up, down, left, right. And it used to get you tanks. I'm having the best hack on everything. The best life that I can. All areas. Because I know what impact I want to have for the future versions that I'm going to create. I'm not creating a barrier basic game for them to come into with struggle, with worry, with doubt and anxiety, fear. I'm creating the fucking most optimal peak performance that they can come into. Are they going to learn? Yes. Are they going to have everything handed to them? Absolutely not. But if you can come into this and you already know that you're the hack, you're the cheat code, you're the master of your reality, you're God's highest form of creation, if you want to start going that deep into it. The biblical structure side of things is insane when you start understanding it. And I'm not saying we need to all start reading the Bible, singing Kumbaya and all that other stuff, but study this shit. I tell you all on these calls, you can cut up my arm, my legs, my fingers, and it will tell you to the molecular structure why it does what it does. Chop my brain in half, take little segments of it. You will never, ever, 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 ever decipher why my brain does and thinks how it thinks. Ever. You will never decipher it. Mark Jones, Z9K. If you don't like that, I'm swearing, bro. Just close it down. As I've said, I'm here to deliver my true self. The true self, I don't filter shit. If you don't like it, it's all good. I'm not here to people please. The fact that people choose that type of stuff really boggles my brain. But imagine if you could create that best version of you day to day. I'm going to create the most peak, most optimal performing version of myself for the future versions of me. Done. So like a lot of you on here, you're cluttering up this. You're cluttering up this. You're cluttering up your house with all little sentimental stuff that the future of you doesn't need, doesn't want, doesn't carry. Some of you have downloaded the books, you've got the audio books, you've bought the books, you send it to me on here, which is incredible. It shows that you're taking action. So you imagine if you started to go and implement that. And you started to go and actually take what it was that we went through week by week, month after month, year after year, and you started to implement that. Yes, you might be a little bit behind. You might just be getting into this. You might just be seeing that, oh, well, actually, yes, I said I was going to do this, and it actually happened. Or I started thinking about this, and then all of a sudden, it started to happen. Like, you guys right now have no idea the stuff that's going on that happens day in, day out, that's actually coming into fruition for like what it is that I've always wanted. It's insane. I've got some of my closest friends, some of my closest business partners moving to Marbella, rekindling friendships that that didn't lose, but we had some great times over the years that are now coming back in the full circle after 8 to 10 years, starting to do stuff together again. So you imagine all of this type of stuff is there waiting for you. You just have to start moving in the right direction, start thinking the right way, start speaking the right way. Because I'm telling you, once you start doing this, it's a hack. Some of you think it's all juju, woo-woo, la-la, sunshine, unicorns, and rainbows. But if you just understand that there's part of the game that you don't know yet, but the universe that you're in is always guiding you where you're asking it to take you. So life is hard right now because you're asking for growth. Money is tough right now because it's testing if you truly want that next level version of you. All the trials and tribulations and tests and all this stuff that you're going through is the universe's way of saying, do you really want what you're saying? Because it's tough. If you guys saw what I dealt with day to day, man, it's a lot. Most people aren't ready for it. Like, I've been from a haircut today and she's been like, oh, why have you not been traveling the last couple of months while the weather's been terrible in Marbella? I'm like, I'm building a business. I don't leave the house. I sit in a coffee shop for 6, 7, 8 hours a day. I'm in meetings all day, back to back to back, because I know what I'm building. So why would I deviate off and go over there and go relax? My life is sick. Some of you are taking vacation to get away from and escaping your current life. My life is what I planned from 2011. I started writing this stuff, talking about this stuff every single day. So now I have it. Of course, it's going to test me. It's going to see if I really want what I truly want. Because to build the care homes, to get the dog sanctuaries, costs money. To do all the other stuff that I've got in place, costs money. To have the financial impact that I need to have going forward, costs money. So I'm going to build the best trading community, the best education in the space, the best mindset group of people ever. That's not even a real sentence, but I'm going to say it anyway. So that in a year's time, there'll be 80,000 in the group. Some of you just got to say something once and you'll check yourself on it. And I want you guys to go do this, right? Let's say that you're setting yourself a goal right now. Okay, so for me, let's say it was to make, when I was back in the day, I was like, right, it's going to make 50 grand a month. Do I believe I can do that in 2 years' time? Yes. Right, a year's time? Yes. 6 months' time? Yes. 3 months' time? No. Right, okay. Well, what is stopping me from getting to that 50K a month? This is what I used to do. And I will backtrack what it is I had to do to get to that level of income. Do I believe I can impact 1,000 people? Yes. In how long? Right. 12 months? Yes. 6 months? Yes. 5 months? No. Right, okay, well, what's going to stop me achieving that in 5 months? This. Right, go implement, go work, do. Someone's asked there about trauma stuff. Like, honestly, like, for those of you who are on here who want to, like, I'm very, from a mindset perspective, I'm very, like, do. Whereas Katie, she's deep into, like, she goes deep into, I don't know, she goes deep into a hell of a lot of stuff when it comes to mindset. I'm sat there listening to her calls and I'm like, Jesus Christ, she obliterates me. It was the first gift that I got her, was the Thinking into Results by Bob Proctor. Printed it, laminated it, gave her all the audio with it. That was two years ago. Madness. Now she's got 126,000 subscribers on YouTube, won school games, 300 plus people in a school community, goes live every week, talking about everything to do with mindset, trauma, this, and this. Like, the stuff that I'm learning, the person that I am now, she'll let me kind of go down a little rabbit hole first. So she goes, do you want me to tell you what really is the issue? I'm like, come on then, tell me. And eventually she tells me, I'm like, oh my God, you're so right. Sometimes we need people to guide us and tell us that we're going off track. So some of you need that little bit of a, some of you need a little bit of a, right, to realize that you're going the wrong way. So for me, when I started to see this over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, that I was going down the wrong path, that I was doing the wrong thing, that I was following the wrong information, I was following the wrong kind of guidance, if you will. Imagine if I started to truly understand the best version of me, how he operated. Started to study Thinking into Results, started studying, Bob Proctor, Earl Nightingale, started studying Think and Grow Rich, started really understanding why he dedicated his life for 54 years of that to understanding that book. Right? Some of you are asking for Katie's channel. Let me try and get this here. 1 second. I think it's just type in Katie Clark on YouTube. It'll pop up, I believe. Katie Clark. Katie. Where is she? There she is. View channel. Katie Clark. Okay, done. A few people asked for that, so there you go. But yeah, like she's been incredible for me, like helping me really understand what it is that I need to do, how I need to get better. And, you know, I think having a partner and someone around you that can really help and guide you to become that best version of yourself, to really identify flaws and weaknesses, but in a constructive way, not patronizing or making you feel bad and negative. Like that is, you know, what I really, really benefit from it. So going through all of this type of stuff and really understanding that we're our own worst enemies 99.99% of the time, because we create the worlds that we're in. We create it. So the life, the income, the relationships, everything that you have right now is a byproduct of you, your thoughts, how you operate, how you speak, how you think, everything. So if you don't like your current things, this needs to change. What you say needs to change. How you operate needs to change. Sometimes you just need a little bit of a reboot. Put some new hardware in. You know? But guys and girls, I appreciate every single one of you tuning in on a Monday night. It's going to be a huge year. January was absolutely incredible. We saw record-breaking months again. You know, I've got some stuff lined up and in place right now that I've been toying with the idea of around the mindset side of things, but I'll probably leave that for another day. Maybe share that a little bit closer to the time. But yeah, I'm excited for every single one of you that are in here, that are on the journey. Because when it comes to trading, the amount of money that you can make is obscene, is eye-watering. And I'll see if I can share this on my screen, actually. Maybe. Can I? Hello? Yeah, today, £2,444.93. I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not. Maybe not. Low lot sizes, nice and steady, Eddie. Work as we go. But guys and girls, I appreciate every single one of you tuning in, as per usual, every single Monday. I'm going to go get some food, chill out, and next event is being planned as we speak. Just trying to confirm some venues because we had 220 people there at the last one. And if I'm honest with you, we could have had 700-800. So literally, event-wise, we're just getting everything kind of prepared, ready to rock and roll for the next one. So, yeah, other than that, not really much else to share, guys. So if you haven't already done so, make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Go away after this call and just drop, again, when this goes live, actually, just go drop a little positive comment or a positive word or something that the future you can go back and read when you achieve everything that you set out to achieve, right? I'm starting to get my YouTube popping. We hit 5,000 subscribers last week. I'm absolutely buzzing. I've only been trying to do this for years, right? Guys and girls, I appreciate every single one of you tuning in. Deuces. I kind of found myself doing a loop there. I'm a little bit tired. Goodbye. Good night.